Tonight's serving of Untold Stories is a recipe which will be hard to swallow. It contains gallons of pure, undiluted truth, seasoned with a teaspoon of lies. There are also bushels of pranks gone wrong. It is firmly packed with scientific and genetic abnormalities and a cup full of mathematical improbabilities. Naturally, there are ounces of incredulous crime and wanton stupidity blended with a heap of historical and political juxtaposition. This program is in keeping with the ideals of Robert L. Ripley, who believed in research, accuracy, and the quest for the bizarre, the peculiar, and the implausible. Untold Stories presents St Lucia, Believe It or Not, Part 2. Napoleon Bonaparte said it best: there is only one step from the sublime to the ridiculous. In Part 2 of St Lucia, Believe It or Not, a man is sentenced to death for stealing 2 shirts. Devil worship in Soufrière leads to a killing spree. Julian Hunt harbors a dark secret. 11 police officers are caught in a smuggling ring. And I go on a date with the island's shortest woman. But first, here are 6 people you wouldn't believe actually exist. Number 6. Youngest mother in the world. Lena Medina from Peru was born on September 27, 1933. She is the youngest mother in history, having given birth at age 5. Her parents thought she had a tumor in her stomach. At the hospital, it was diagnosed she was 7 months pregnant. Her reproductive system was determined to be fully developed at age 2.5. Her son Gerardo lived to 40 years old, then died from a bone marrow disease. The father of the child was never identified. Number 5. Natasha Demkina is a Russian woman who claims to possess special vision that allows her to look inside human bodies and see organs and tissues, and thereby make medical diagnoses. Since the age of 10, she has performed thousands of readings. She has shut down even the most vicious critics with a creepy but totally accurate medical analysis. Since January 2006, Demkina has worked for the Center for Special Diagnostics in Russia. Number 4. Upside Down Man. 37-year-old Claudio Vieirada de Oliveira grew up having his head bent all the way backward, which couldn't be held upright. His limbs are also useless. He suffers from a condition called congenital arthrogyrosis, which means that a joint is in an extended or flexed position. He can't use a wheelchair, but manages to get around. He studied accounting, but earns a living as a public speaker. Number 3. Remember the movie The Curious Case of Benjamin Button? What if I told you that 2 brothers from England, 39-year-old Matthew and 42-year-old Michael Clark, have steadily regressed to the point where they now have the mental age of young children and need round-the-clock care? They were diagnosed with terminal leukodystrophy, a condition so rare it is estimated that only around 100 adults in the UK are affected. Wow. Talk about science being stranger than fiction. Number 2. The more the merrier. 45-year-old Ganga and Jamuna are known as the Spider Sisters. They have 4 limbs and 3 legs. And they have a man as well. They say he saved them from their lowly existence. In 1993, they gave birth to a daughter by caesarean section, but she died hours after being born. 3 people making 1 child. Now that's astonishing. And for number 1, join us later in the broadcast as I go on a date with St. Lucia's smallest woman.
Every once in a while, a company will appear on the scene with a fresh perspective, a burst of adrenaline, and a passion for excellence. Its humble beginnings are steeped in social transformation. Last to enter the arena, it changes the status quo and the game will never be the same again. The independent film company appeared on the scene when the commercial sector needed it most. Its metamorphosis blossomed with the production of the most creative television commercials in St Lucia, and they do it all absolutely free. From marketing concepts, surveys and research, to professionally produced ads for social media and television, and the most engaging documentaries in the English-speaking Caribbean. With heavy investments in technology and a focus on building the technical and service capacity of its nimble team, it prides itself on being the little company that could. The Independent Film Company Incorporated, changing yesterday's game, rewriting today's roles, and charting the way for multimedia production here, now, and beyond. Where most people see a window, we see a vision. We see the hours of development and testing, from the precision of craftsmen, quality of components, CNC processing to form immaculate all-glass products, the dedication of people who stand behind a product built to last a lifetime. And who knows, maybe after today, every time you look through one, you'll remember everything that went into it. St. Lu means windows, doors and all-glass products, and customization of modular products to suit your needs. Precision, quality, safety. They're your windows and your world. Call us today at 454-6538.
I watched him on the bed, knowing a man who has worked his entire life, can't afford the cost of his surgery or medication. Mom and I must sell barbecue tickets to help save his life. For less than $4 a day, the cost of a packet of gum, my dad could have been airlifted to get treatment. Some adults can be so insensitive with their lack of foresight. Now, Mom and I either have to watch him wither away or sell a whole lot more barbecue. Why? Because one person didn't care enough to plan.
GTM Medical Insurance. Less than $4 a day for the greatest peace of mind anyone could ask for. Call us today, 458-6300.
I can only describe the following facts as mind-boggling. Did you know that you are 1 inch shorter in the evening than in the morning? Or that your body produces enough heat in 30 minutes to boil half a gallon of water? Or that men are more likely to be struck by lightning than women? I wonder why. Here's one to test your patience. Imagine being stuck in a traffic jam for more than 10 days. Yup, the world's longest traffic jam began on August 14, 2010 and spanned more than 60 miles of China's National Highway 110. Amazing. One of the most difficult things for most drivers is parking. Believe it or not, technology has rescued us from the nightmares of parallel parking. Press this button, poke this lever, and voila! Believe it or not, St. Lucia, the self-parking BMW Mini Cooper is available in St. Lucia, brand new from the dealer. Did you know that French was the official language of England for over 600 years? I didn't know that either. And approximately 2,500 left-handed people die each year as a result of using equipment designed for right-handed people. Did you know that cows are best friends and experience stress when they are removed from them? Who would have imagined that? Strange things happen when man tampers with nature. An experiment in India in 1910 crossed a leopard and a lioness. The result? A leap-on. And as if a jaguar was not menacing enough and a lion not strong enough, the two unintentionally mated in a bear wildlife sanctuary on April 9, 2006. The two offspring survived and had mutated cubs of their own. The Jeep is synonymous with off-road climbing, right? But what happens when you cross the off-road master in the animal world with a gentle sheep? You get a Jeep, right? In year 2000, the Botswana Ministry of Agriculture mated a male sheep and a female goat. It had a rough outer coat, a woolly inner coat, long legs like a goat, and a sheep-like body. However, the Jeep was infertile. Abnormalities in the animal world have also happened in St Lucia. September 25, 2012, Bellevue Viewfort. A ewe gave birth to a two-headed lamb.
Morning when I went to tie my sheep, I got it give birth with three little ones, one with two heads, 3 ears, 4 eyes. That's it, and 2 of them dead and 1 alive.
Considering that some people find it erotic to defile themselves with furry animals, some residents had their own DNA suspicions.
Well, let me venir, moi garder mouton, moi dis well, pour délai à moun, on savent. Après mal moun passer bon maman, c'est il fait des têtes, so moi même pas ça, puis c'est premier jour moi en bail quoi. Puis mouton c'est une seule tête qui doit faire et mouton on des têtes so. 3 oreilles, so l'autre petite oreille là, c'est petite oreille casse un petit oreille en moun, so moi même pas ça. Puis moi même pas là. So c'est un homme qui fait anything.
Necessity knows no law. But what if your legs were necessary to move about? You're a goat, but you were only born with 2. Well, in August 2013, this 2-legged goat was born in a rural community in China. Against the odds, it went on to learn to walk and even made several appearances on YouTube. Eventually, Wang Ziming, a cancer patient who suffers from lymphoma, bought the animal for £450 because of its fighting spirit. Well, Yang Ziming may have to travel to St Lucia to purchase another kid. August 2012, in Denver, a nanny gave birth to a 2-legged kid, leaving the owner completely bewildered.
I feel so sorry for him because it's a nice colored goat, nice little goat. I see how I can, be able to maintain it, above or something. I don't know what to do with it.
When I found my West and I'm going to know we can't be my passion to West. They can show them moving properly,
While man plays God with reproduction and genetic glitches fuel our suspicions, here are some bizarre facts about human sexuality. Complete sexual inactivity may cause considerable penis size reduction. I guess it's a case of use it or lose it. The inventor of Kellogg's cornflakes, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, believed that his cereal would fight the urge to masturbate. Did you know that strippers make more money while ovulating? Or that 42% of American couples think they have a greater chance of seeing Bigfoot than climaxing at the same time? 51% of women have had orgasms while doing crunches. And did you know that sperm travels at 28 miles per hour? It contains anti-wrinkle properties as well as zinc and calcium, which fight tooth decay. Let's move on to fellatio. As late as 1976, some doctors were advising women in the 8th and 9th months of pregnancy not to swallow semen, lest it induce premature labor. Thankfully, modern science has proved them wrong. And on that not so yummy note, let's take a break. And when we return, I will tell you a deep, dark, yellow secret about Sir Julian R. Hunt.
Yo, I'm in.
Tell me what you see.
Page with a password.
I'm sending it to you now.
Okay, what do I do now?
Open the web browser. Search YouTube.
YouTube.
Type in Untold Stories St Lucia.
Yo.
What happened?
Oh my god, yo.
What? What happened?
Yo, all the new programs online.
Well, hurry, hit subscribe.
Finally, we subscribe to the Untold Stories YouTube channel, and so should you.
Life is a series of triumphs and trials. The circle of life has all the usual certainties and, of course, the unpredictable. Just one can affect you and your loved ones. Sadly, many fail to prepare for the unforeseen. Thankfully, we've been here for over 138 years, helping you plan and recover. We offer peace of mind at that critical moment. GTM Insurance. Sound, solid, and reliable. Call us today at 458-6300 or log on to gtminsurance.net.
Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful. And everything that I do, la la la. Do 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 do.
Where most people see a window, we see a vision. We see the hours of development and testing, from the precision of craftsmen, quality of components, CNC processing to form immaculate all-glass products, the dedication of people who stand behind a product built to last a lifetime. And who knows, maybe after today, every time you look through one, you'll remember everything that went into it. St. Lu means windows, doors and all-glass products and customization of modular products to suit your needs. Precision, quality, safety. They're your windows and your world. Call us today at 454-6538.
The fallacy of the truth is a tough pill to swallow. The fiction of the irrefutable truth is defended or prosecuted depending on who is listening and who is telling. When death comes knocking, the living are sometimes lost for explanation. February 8th, 1975, the Crusader relayed the most unbelievably concocted, believable story. A 35-year-old watchman at the police armory at Le Toc was shot and killed when the reserve police had just arrived on the scene to take up duty from another police officer. He was greeted by the watchman, who was lying on the floor of a small room. The watchman asked him what he brought for him that night. Before the reserve policeman could reply, he saw a police rifle slipping from an arborite-topped table. He made a grab to try to catch the rifle, but it hit the ground, and the impact set off the trigger, and all three men looked on in amazement before either realized that one was shot. Suddenly, blood started to flow from the watchman, who then shouted, "Bon Dieu, bon Dieu, bon Dieu," and collapsed and died. The article concluded, the police are conducting routine inquiries, but no foul play is suspected. Sometimes, the truth is absolute fiction. Does that sound believable to you? This newspaper relayed a story of 19-year-old Jeremy Shane Pascal from the Cayman Islands. Pascal hanged his 10-month-old son from the ceiling with a rope after his wife left for church. Jeremy calmly went to the nearby bar, had a cigarette and a beer, then reported himself to the police. Think these things only happen in faraway countries? Think again. St Lucia, March 12, 2012. 24-year-old Nelson Remy is arrested and charged for the murder of his 17-year-old girlfriend, who was 4 months pregnant at the time, and their 18-month-old daughter, Tashika. Unbelievably, the alleged perpetrator was the one who placed the call to 911. 17. A mother of an 18-month-old, pregnant again, and questions start to swirl. But this is not an anomaly. May 25th, 1996, a Marshall mother is 10 years old. February 17th, 1996, a lesbian teacher sexually abused an 8-year-old girl. The teacher admitted to performing oral sex on the child in a bathroom at the school. The principal also confirmed a second case where the perverted teacher ruptured another child's hymen in similar fashion. Naturally, these incidents were reported to the Ministry of Education, who advised the complaining parents to take their own action. Unbelievable, but true. Child abandonment is the practice of relinquishing interest and claims over one's offsprings in an extra-legal way with the intent of never again resuming or reasserting them. Causes include many social and cultural factors as well as mental illness. An abandoned child is called a fold-in as opposed to a runaway or orphan. Baby dumping refers to parents abandoning or discarding a child younger than 12 months in a public or private place with the intent of disposing of them. It is also known as rehoming. Wednesday, March 13th, 1985. This beautiful baby girl was dumped in a garbage bin on Jeremy Street in Castries minutes after her birth. She was discovered by a sanitation worker and taken to Victoria Hospital for treatment. She made a full recovery. The mother was never found and the child was put up for adoption. 31 years later, I wonder whatever happened to her. December 1994. It happened again. A 4-month-old baby was left on the steps of an affluent Bonte home and the mother simply vanished. Olinga Ford of the St Lucia Crisis Center was tasked with finding a home for the child. Sad, but true. Nothing is certain in this life but death, taxes, and the existence in every generation of fuddy-buddies who crap about things not being what they used to be. How things were more civilized in their era, that there was less crime and yidda. The history book tells a collection of sordid, comical, and unbelievable stories that would refresh the memories of the old-timers and provide comic relief to the iPod generation. October 30th, 1971. The St Lucia Herald reported the biggest robbery ever in St Lucia. The island's principal jewelry store, White Dilemma, was broken into and nearly $50,000 worth of precious metals, watches and pearls was stolen. Dynamite was not difficult to find in the early 70s, and so its use was preferred even to blow up an ice cream shop. July 1971. Bandits went to great lengths to blow up the doors of Ferrin's Dairy to continue a string of safe robberies. Unfortunately for them, the ice cream parlor was not a soft target, and the safe robbery failed. Who are these people? Trouble and mayhem. Senior George Odlum and his spectacle-wearing sidekick Peter Josie. In 1979, they were the dynamite pair. They led a legion of rebellious followers in a climate of political upheaval never seen since. August 1979. David Vitalis reported on the infamous Plywood City, where more than $80,000 was lost in a political snatch. Bata was left shoeless. Johnson's Hardware was looted $60,000 worth of stock. Unbelievable? But the history book says it's true. Today, the Impact's breeze sweeps the airwaves. St. Lucian law enforcement are persona non grata on US soil. An almost unprecedented occurrence, right? But what if I told you that's not the first time our men have been rejected? August 1979, a party of St. Lucian cadets destined for a training camp were denied entry into Martinique. No doubt, with the political unrest in St. Lucia, the French were not about to equip a group of young St. Lucian men with military training. That task was left to Libya. Politics breeds the strangest bedfellows. Who would ever imagine these two being under the same umbrella? Or these two being under different umbrellas? We've recently seen a father-daughter abortion and a man transformed from green to yellow to just plain angry. We've seen a bountiful prime minister and a charismatic leader square off in court on several occasions. And now we see them on the same red political platform. But who would have imagined that the history books would reveal that the man who nearly broke glass in John Compton's ass was once a candidate for the United Workers' Party? Yup. Sir Julian R. Hunt, the grandfather of everything that is Labour, was once a UWP operative. Did you know that? The political absurdity doesn't stop there. Imagine being an elected member of the United Workers' Party since 1964. Imagine being Deputy Prime Minister for most of these years. Imagine being your party's bow-tie-wearing pillar who bows out of elective politics to become your island's Governor-General. Now, imagine the red winds of change, your party being unceremoniously booted out of office. But you are stuck in political purgatory. Believe it or not, your career ends with you proclaiming allegiance to a party you fought against for over 33 years, while its leader looks on gleefully. Unbelievable? But the history book says it's absolutely true. When we return, the Dracula of Soufrière, the coffin in the Marshall Road, and a police smuggling ring is uncovered.
Where most people see a window, we see a vision. We see the hours of development and testing, from the precision of craftsmen, quality of components, CNC processing to form immaculate all-glass products, the dedication of people who stand behind a product built to last a lifetime. And who knows, maybe after today, every time you look through one, you'll remember everything that went into it. St. Lu means windows, doors and all-glass products and customization of modular products to suit your needs. Precision, quality, safety. They're your windows and your world. Call us today at 454-6538.
Hey, stop it.
That's what I'm here for.
For over 138 years, we've had your back. From home contents to medical, auto to business continuity. GTM Insurance. Sound, solid, and reliable. Every once in a while, a company will appear on the scene with a fresh perspective, a burst of adrenaline, and a passion for excellence. Its humble beginnings are steeped in social transformation. Last to enter the arena, it changes the status quo, and the game will never be the same again. The independent film company appeared on the scene when the commercial sector needed it most. Its metamorphosis blossomed with the production of the most creative television commercials in St Lucia, and they do it all absolutely free. From marketing concepts, surveys and research, to professionally produced ads for social media and television, and the most engaging documentaries in the English-speaking Caribbean. With heavy investments in technology and a focus on building the technical and service capacity of its nimble team, it prides itself on being the little company that could. The Independent Film Company Incorporated, changing yesterday's game, rewriting today's roles, and charting the way for multimedia production here, now, and beyond.
The Catholic Church comprised 2,834 dioceses, each overseen by a bishop. From 1981, this man has been the head of the Catholic Church in St Lucia. But trouble, albeit the devil, was never far behind. In the early 1990s, believe it or not, the man of the cloth was caught up in a $1 million racket dubbed the college funds scandal. A few years later, he was hauled before the courts for failing to pay his debts. Satan wouldn't stop there. April 15, 2006, Archbishop Kelvin Felix was standing outside this church when the attacker approached him from the back, forced him into a headlock, and made an attempt to slash his throat. The prayerful priest was able to struggle and pushed his attacker to the ground. Fortunately, the Roman Catholic collar on his gown had shielded his neck from injury. Unbelievable that someone would want to hurt a priest. The Star has earned the reputation of being St. Lucia's most salacious newspaper, and for good reason. A combination of saucy headlines and meatless stories seasoned with the most appropriate photographs force you to read further. February 13th, 1993. Woman confesses she had sex with priest. In a letter to the Star, the choir member spoke of the priest dropping her home late nights after choir practice. She detailed how the priest would spend nights on end at her house until her parents got involved. But it was the sweaty encounter in the Babonneau Presbytery which was too sweet, too rough, or too carnal to keep to herself. She reported that Father forced himself upon her. She screamed, but no one came to her assistance. When the ordeal was over, Father gave her a signed check as payment for silence, albeit her service. Unbelievably, when the Star contacted His Holiness Kelvin Felix, he had taken a vow of silence on the matter. I wonder what Father put on the check stub as payment details.
Tonight I came here to let you know that every yoke of delay upon your life, the Lord has given us power to destroy it. I say it shall be destroyed.
Whosoever undertakes to set himself up as a judge of truth and knowledge is shipwrecked by the laughter of the gods. Would you believe it if I told you I have interviewed a man who has raised 2 people from the dead? Okay, don't take my word for it. Watch this.
I have risen dead more than 2 in Ghana.
You have raised the dead?
They were dead. Doctors have confirmed that they were dead, and they brought them to the church, and through grace, God made me command life out of them, and they came out live.
And there is documented proof of that?
I think there are pictures on my Facebook. When you go to my Facebook, there are pictures on it, and I have pulled legs, people who were having short legs, God have used me to pull their legs. All sorts of kind of miracles, God have used me to do it.
People say all manner of things. It's your choice if you believe it or not. Truth emerges more readily from error than from confusion. Confusing? Well, consider this. The gunshots echoed through the community of Cicero one Friday night. Several eyewitnesses agreed on timing and general direction of the soundtrack. Several others saw the body, all at various locations. Naturally, a report was made to the police. But believe it or not, there were plenty of eyewitnesses, yet no body or injured citizen. But someone was hauled to jail for the prank. Ever thought of calling a bomb scare at your job because you were just too wasted from the night before? Think again. September 15th, 1984, 23-year-old Damiana Monrose of Central Castries was sentenced to 2 months in prison for causing mass panic at a workplace, Builders Supplies Limited on Chaussee Road. The magistrate did not appreciate her April 1st type humor and sent her off to Her Majesty's Hotel to rethink a career in comedy. Unbelievable? But the judge right. Every 3 days, another Bajan dies of AIDS. That is one scary headline. But believe it or not, in 1996, it was absolutely true. It's an age-old axiom, don't act when angry. Well, someone should have told that to Monsieur Compton and his police commissioner, number 5 Vernon Augustine. In 1994, the public service racked up a $3 million phone bill. The police were the biggest blabbers. Compton's budget that year spoke of cost-cutting measures. So, the police chief disconnected all police phones for nearly a month. No one was able to make an outgoing call. Only in St Lucia. Police and policed. Similar words, vast difference. The force is full of crooks who hide their criminality behind their uniform, said Prime Minister John Compton when he fired this man, Commissioner of Police Cuthbert Phillips. But little did Compy know, history would sing a familiar tune in 1996 when the 11-man crew of the Coast Guard Defender returned home from a trip to St Croix carrying all manner of merchandise and decided not to pay customs duties. But little did they know, they were being policed. The police officers were fined $11,000 for smuggling. Is Obeah a religion? Is practicing Obeah a crime? Well, according to sections of the St Lucian Criminal Code, it is. March 25th, 1995, police smash an occult ring and arrest 6 Africans. They also seized sorcery books, voodoo dolls, and a notebook containing names of suspected clients. The raid came in the aftermath of several complaints of locals being deceived by fraudulent fortune tellers. Believe it or not, plain Gade can land you in jail for 90 days. Soufre people do the darnest things. There was Paul Lucien who killed his lover and stabbed his 2 children in an apparent fit of ultimate jealousy. Then, we told you the story of a man who sewed his girlfriend's vagina after he caught her cheating. But the madness does not stop there. In October 1996, the Soufre Dracula was arrested. Lincoln Harris, a cattle owner of Soufre, says that his cow was beheaded by a monster in human form who drank the animal's blood. Police arrested the man who roams the town naked and is well known for stewing dogs. The bizarre and nightmarish acts were performed by a man residents report is deep in devil worship. Bloody, disgusting, revolting, but these things only happen in Soufre. What would you do if you were a drug dealer who was double-crossed by another drug dealer? You lost your cocaine, which you asked him to traffic on your behalf. You would try shooting him, right? Okay, so you tried that, but it didn't work. How about effecting a citizen's arrest? Bringing him down to the police station so the police can deal with him. Sounds stupid, right? Well, people from Macbexor do some crazy things. In the end, the police raided the area and arrested 13 people, including the 2 who made the citizen's arrest. 2 shotguns were confiscated and 100 rounds of ammunition. These guys need a serious crash course in drug dealing. As dumb crimes go, it is not the worst, and it's not the dumbest. Derek Flora of Miku broke into a house and stole $7. $7! Naturally, he was hauled before the court and fined $87 or 4 months in jail. for $7. Conrad Alexander is a known larcenist who had appeared before sitting High Court Judge Eric Bishop on several occasions. He demonstrated his skills in the art of housebreaking by burgling the house of the said judge. He likewise displayed his stupidity by leaving a roadmap to his recapture. Unsurprisingly, he was hauled before the court, where a fellow judge, Justice Neville Berridge, not only took the mickey out of him, but threw the book at the stupid criminal and sent him to jail for 9 years. Astonishingly, during the same assizes, Michael Newton, a Castries fisherman who pleaded guilty to killing 42-year-old Christopher Hartley, was sentenced to only 5 years in prison by the same judge. The contrast, hypocrisy, albeit contradiction, is unquestionably true. February 1984, a guy named Felicia Dumerville fancied a new ride. A Honda Civic, perhaps. Only thing is, he had no money. But he had a checkbook. He made the check payable to Mitchell Vitalis and Francis Flavius, and he drove off. 3 weeks later, the check still had not cleared. Mr. Dumerville, who had 14 previous convictions for similar offenses, was sent to the slammer for 18 months. With a name like Dumerville, what else do you expect? Not all criminals are that brainless. June 1993, escaped prisoner Albert Epiphan was on the run. His wife, Ephelma Epiphan, was also a prisoner, both on drug-related charges. Believe it or not, Albert Epiphan took his infant child on a daring jailbreak with him at 1:30 in the morning. He busted his lover out of prison, boarded a boat, then mother, father and child sailed off to freedom. Unbelievable, but absolutely true. Coming up, St. Lucia's most ridiculous laws and the most bizarre deaths in St. Lucian history.
Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful. And everything that I do, la 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 la. Do 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 do.
This is actually the owner of the company where we are. Top thing, I tell you, top thing.
Life is a series of triumphs and trials. The circle of life has all the usual certainties and, of course, the unpredictable. Just one can affect you and your loved ones. Sadly, many fail to prepare for the unforeseen. Thankfully, we've been here for over 138 years, helping you plan and recover. We offer peace of mind at that critical moment. GTM Insurance, sound, solid, and reliable. Call us today at 458-6300 or log on to gtminsurance.net. Where most people see a window, we see a vision. We see the hours of development and testing, from the precision of craftsmen, quality of components, CNC processing to form immaculate all-glass products, the dedication of people who stand behind a product built to last a lifetime. And who knows, maybe after today, every time you look through one, you'll remember everything that went into it. St. Lou means windows. doors and all-glass products and customization of modular products to suit your needs. Precision, quality, safety. They're your windows and your world. Call us today at 454-6538.
A Jack Spaniard is a species belonging to the wasp and bee family. They attack with an incredible sting when threatened. 20 years ago, they were common in St Lucia, but have long since flown away. June 19, 1971. The Voice newspaper read Death by Misadventure. The inquest on the death of Mary Ann Pierre, Mary Elder Pierre, and Stephen Pierre was held. The three died at the Victoria Hospital when a Land Rover number plate 4032, driven by James Tanwell, went off the road at the back of the Mon, an area known as Pave, hitting them. A verdict of death by misadventure was recorded. It is alleged that a Jack Spaniard entered the vehicle and stung the driver, causing him to lose control. Bizarre, convoluted, unfathomable, but absolutely true. The newspaper headline shouted, "2 die in Rumbet," and I thought, no, impossible. As I consumed every outdated letter in the print, I learned that one Sunday night in 1971, 52-year-old Simpson Wiggins drank an entire bottle of white rum in a bar in Grosley, proving to his friends that he was the best rum-drinking god in the village. Naturally, on the Monday, the news spread like the smell of fresh fish in Grosley, prompting 30-year-old Modest Bernardine to show one and all that he was a superior rum-drinking god. He threw down 3 flasks of strong white rum without mishap. And waved his buddies good night. The following morning, Modest Bernardine was dead. That Tuesday night, Simpson Wiggins heard the story of Bernardine's death. He was eager to show Grosley that he could perform the drinking feat all over again. So, he went to the nearest rum shop and, in the presence of an excited audience, drank every last drop of a bottle of 90 proof white rum. Well, that was the last drink he ever had. That night, Wiggins collapsed and died. Unbelievable, but Jean Gozile, it's true. In August 1985, 2 sailors left Taiwan to come all the way to St Lucia to die. Tempers flared and karate skills were on display on board the fishing vessel number 31 Teo Yang. In the melee, 52-year-old Hang Samu was thrown overboard by another sailor named Yaw Nong Hu. At that moment, a knife was drawn and Yaw was stabbed repeatedly as another sailor avenged his friend's death. And it all happened right here in Port Castries. Talk about Sunday Kung Fu theatre. Just so, why St Lucia? In May 1990, the courts sentenced 28-year-old Mathrin Frederick to death for stealing 2 shirts. He was remanded to a Majesty's prison for 14 days for the offense and placed in a cell with 4 other inmates. But a few days into his sentence, 3 of his cellmates killed the shirt-stealing convict. Weird, but accurate. When death comes knocking, fighting fate is futile. In February 2002, a woman on her way home from selling Jehovah's Witness books came face to face with madness. A deranged man bludgeoned the Jehovah's Witness to death with a rock. The man was shot in the leg by the police after he had injured several other people in his fit of madness. Sad and unfortunate, but gospel truth. Necrophobia is the irrational fear of dead things, corpses as well as things associated with death, example coffins, tombstones, funerals and cemeteries. On the night of Sunday, August 12, 1979, necrophobia gripped many residents of Marshall. Shortly after 10:30 p.m., a medium-sized coffin was placed across the road which obstructed the normal flow of traffic. Many motorists refused to go past the casket and made beelines to other roads. The coffin was complete with varnish and handles. Later, it was discovered that the said sarcophagus mysteriously, albeit magically, disappeared from the Marshall Parish Center and landed in the middle of the street. Unbelievable? But Marshall people, it happened. Believe it or not, strange occurrences are not relegated to the black and white days. In 2009, the HTS News Force reported on the unthinkable.
The little body of 4-year-old Katie Prince was found in the back of a Mitsubishi Lancer on Wednesday. Police say she was left there all day. It is an unprecedented case, often heard of in foreign media, but a landmark investigation for local police. Investigations are ongoing, but police have pieced together a good picture of the circumstances leading to the death of the preschooler. The toddler's mother lives in Canada. She was left in the care of a guardian who left the state this week to attend a meeting in Guyana. The guardian left Katie in the care of the young woman. According to reports, on Wednesday, the young woman had 4 children in her car and, sticking to her routine, dropped off 3 at school before driving to work. She parked her car outside her workplace in Massad Groselet and began her 8-hour workday. Unfortunately, little Katie was still in the car. ACP for Crime and Intelligence, Vernon Francois, says she died between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m.
To date, no one was found criminally responsible for this toddler's death. Over the years, justice has been an intricate collage of contradictions, solid legal decisions, accentuated by the whims and fancies of judicial officers, stirred with an ounce of madness, and served to defendants. Cold. Did you know that until January 16, 1995, teachers who were pregnant and unmarried were automatically dismissed from their jobs? And there was nothing the teachers' union could have done about it. Senseless and absurd, but true. Compton was an awesome leader, but sometimes he had bouts of what can only be described as pure madness. In 1985, the Old Fox announced a Plea Belle Village contest for National Day celebrations. In his wisdom or lack thereof, Compton mandated that all unlicensed vehicles found on the roads of Beaufort were to be dumped in the sea as part of the beautification of the southern town. Only Compton can come up with such madness. Section 498 of the Criminal Code. Whosoever hangs or places any clothes on any line or cord projecting over any part of any public way or public place on a wall, fence, or paling abutting upon any public place is liable summarily to a penalty of $250. CDC people, take note. Section 492. Whosoever in any public way or any public place in any city, town or village beats or shakes any mat between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. is liable to a penalty of $250. Section 503. Whoever in any public way or public place in any city or town flies any kite or plays any game is liable summarily to a penalty of $250. Section 473. Whoever washes any vehicle or makes any business of carrying out repairs to vehicles in any street, road, or open space to which the public are granted access in any city, town, and village or within 1 mile of the boundaries is liable to a penalty of, you guessed it, $250. Section 677. Whoever takes part in any horse race or boat race on any Sunday, Christmas Day, Good Friday, Corpus Christi, or any other day as set by public proclamation for divine service is liable summarily to a penalty of $250. Can you believe these things were on our law books? After all the ridiculous archaic laws, the senseless crimes and stupid criminals, past the convenience of traitorous politicians and the juxtaposition of history and the comedy of time, we arrive at our shortest, sweetest, most adorable St. Lucia. Born on March 16, 1993 to a father who stands just 4 feet, her brother was also born with this rare condition called quadriplegia. Eva Joseph hails from Bardini and is just 3 feet 5 inches tall. She is one of a handful of such people in St. Lucia and is perhaps the island's shortest woman. And believe it or not, I'm going on a date with her. Good night.
Has never been told. Could go on and on, the fool has never been told. Could go on and on, the fool has never been told. Could go on and on, the fool has never been told. Could go on and on, the fool has never been